Have you ever asked yourself if silence is more powerful than any words? In life, we often make a common mistake. We believe that if we explain enough, other people will understand and accept us. But the hard truth is the need to explain ourselves is a psychological prison that we build on our own. In that prison, we give the key of our happiness to someone else. It is time for you to stop explaining yourself, because your value does not depend on what the world says. Look at the story of Liam, a young interior designer in the busy city of Viridia. Liam has skillful hands and a mind full of creative ideas about simple and modern living spaces. However, behind his passionate appearance is a heart that is always worried. He is stuck in a bad habit. He cares too much about other people's opinions. Every time he presents a new design or a new building method, Liam never lets his work speak for itself. Instead, he feels a strong need to explain, to defend his ideas, and to look for approval from clients and colleagues. He does not realize that this effort to find common ground is slowly hurting his identity and his freedom. If you are also tired of always explaining your life choices, stay with me and follow Liam's journey of awakening. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell to explore life-changing philosophies with me every day. Now let's see what price Liam had to pay for being too sensitive. In Viridia, Liam began to feel the terrible pain of living inside other people's expectations. He stood in the pressure of invisible forces. On one side were clients who only wanted flashy and common designs. On the other side were colleagues who looked at him with doubt, thinking that his minimalist style was lazy thinking. Instead of focusing on his skills, Liam chose to fight with words. He sent long reports of dozens of pages and held meetings just to explain that minimalism is the highest level of architecture. But the sad truth is, when you have not learned to stop explaining yourself, people who do not want to understand will have even more reasons to attack you. Liam fell into that trap. He spent 8 hours a day working, but he spent 8 more hours defending that work. The tiredness from always protecting his identity in front of people who had already closed their hearts slowly took all his energy. As a result, Liam's designs began to lose their original soul. They became pale, full of compromise and ordinary. Just like the way he was losing himself to get a simple nod from the crowd. The creative fire inside him became weaker, leaving only emptiness and fear of being judged. Every step he took to his workshop felt heavy, as if he was wearing chains. When the lights of Viridia City became fewer, Liam was still sitting there with his head down next to rejected drafts and unsent explanation emails. All his efforts to explain before were now only broken pieces of his hurt self-respect. He tried too hard to be understood, but what he received was only emptiness and a tired soul. At that moment, Mr. Elias, the old carpenter who quietly worked in the corner of the workshop and had watched Liam for many months, walked closer, looking at Liam's dark circles under his eyes and the thick pile of documents. He did not give advice about work. Instead, he asked a question that shook Liam's mind. "My boy, since when did their understanding become more important than the peace in your heart?" That question was like cold water thrown on Liam's long confusion. Mr. Elias pointed at the rough pieces of wood, waiting to be shaped, and continued. "Wood does not need to explain if it will become a table or a chair. It quietly accepts the cuts of the axe to show its final beauty. The right people will come when they see the result. Those who do not want to understand, even if you speak 1,000 words, it is just like wind passing by." For the first time, Liam saw his main mistake. He thought that he needed the world's approval to be himself. Mr. Elias's words were like a key that opened the door of the psychological prison he had locked himself in. He understood that to find himself again and bring back his creative fire, he had to make a revolution. Stop explaining yourself. This was not giving up, but a brave choice to protect his valuable energy for things that truly matter. After learning from Mr. Elias's lesson, Liam entered a completely new stage. He understood that to truly stop explaining yourself, he could not only think about it, he had to turn it into strong discipline in his actions. He began a silent revolution right in his workshop in Viridia. Instead of spending hours writing long emails to defend himself or holding meetings to ask for understanding like before, Liam chose to speak through results. When a difficult client complained again about the simplicity of his design, Liam did not give psychological research reports to persuade them. He looked into their eyes, smiled calmly, and said, "I respect your point of view, but please let the final work prove its value." That confident silence created a strong authority that no explanation before could create. The huge energy that he once wasted on arguments and dealing with jealous colleagues was now focused on his hands and his mind. He worked in a strange but peaceful silence, carefully shaping every piece of wood and planning every line of light as if he was creating a soul for the space. Even though people still whispered about his arrogance or strangeness behind his back, Liam no longer cared. He realized that when he stopped using words to build an image in other people's eyes, he finally had enough strength to build a masterpiece for his own life. Every cut of the axe, every line he drew now carried absolute freedom. The kind of freedom that only comes when a person chooses to live without needing anyone's approval. Time is the fairest answer to silent effort. When Liam's project, the Breathing House, was officially revealed, it was not only a building, but a big impact that shook the whole design community in Viridia. The people who once doubted him and made fun of his silence now stood speechless before the elegant beauty and the peace that the space created. They realized that while they were busy talking, Liam used silence to build a new standard. Prestigious awards started to come to him. Clients who once rejected him now patiently waited in line just to have 1 hour of consultation with him. But at this point, Liam no longer needed praise to feel valuable. In the end, Liam understood this. A lion never needs to explain why it is the king of the grassland, and a high mountain does not need to defend its greatness to the clouds. You are not defined by your explanations, but by who you become when you are brave enough to let go of the need for the world's approval. Remember, your energy is limited. Do not waste it trying to build an image in other people's minds. Instead, use it to improve yourself. If Liam's story touched you, leave a comment. I choose silence so we can share this inner strength together. Don't forget to like and share this video if you think this message can help someone who is tired of always explaining. Thank you for staying with me until this moment.